However, Cimarron is already operational with active production cycle, existing infrastructure, and a market access. So, who are our target audience? You can just imagine how diverse that is. So Cimarron Estates, as an agricultural company, will target local consumers, restaurants, hotels, and, sorry about that, and ecotourism and agritourism visitors. And then the Capital Development, which is our flagship development that will be happening over the next 5 years, will see an introduction of a restaurant, a famous franchise, and small shops for rentals for small businesses. So you can see the direct linkage with Cimarron and Castleton, as a farm will be supplying our restaurant with whatever we need. And then Boss Solutions now, I like to think of that as my social brand. So Boss will be working with government agencies and small businesses to get them regularized and get them into the farmer sector so that they can benefit from NHT, NIS, and all those lovely things that Jamaica have to offer. So a unique selling proposition. So Boss is in 3 major industries. Agriculture, we're in tourism, and we're in service/real estate. While company A might just be agriculture, and company B might just be services. We're giving you the opportunity to invest in one company that will be managing all of those. But remember, as I said, Cimarron is located in Scots on Maroon Town. So this gives the company benefits from cultural authenticity and ecotourism appeal and a strong brand differentiation. So who are our competitors, you may ask? Our competitors are small and medium-scale farmers, roadside vendors, and standalone business operators. But we'll be differentiating ourselves through scaling, branding, diversification, and experimental offerings rather than a standalone operation. And the market size is huge because we're in major industries, and these are valued at billions of Jamaican dollars annually. So, lovely investors, you may be wondering, what is my ask? My ask is just $10 million for 10% of a holding company. What will I be using this money to do? Well, $3 million will be invested in Cimarron, which is already operational, to boost existing operation, poultry, pig and all that, expand our hydroponic infrastructure, and develop agritourism amenities, and so that visitors can come in over the next 5 years. But the capital development will see the bulk of the money, the $6 million, and that will be used to construct and launch a junction-based service property. And then we'll be retaining $1 million in the holding company to keep us intact, to keep us up to par, our accounting and everything, and operating expenses. Our financials. We expect an average monthly sales of 1.5 to 2 million in our first year after launch and expansion, and that will increase gradually.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, so we are at the end of your presentation time, judges. Now time for your questions. You have the opportunity to target or entrepreneur.
We're just trying to understand because there's so many components. Just trying to nip at one. So, what is the product?
So the product. So we're pitching to investors. So we're pitching to them an opportunity to invest in a company. So we're putting, because the things that we must pitch to investors, not consumers. So we are putting before you a company that will be invested in companies so that you can get a return.
It's a very bold business model because we're in a room of financial entities that are structured in a similar way to what you are trying to do. So you are trying to create a private equity company, basically, that invests in other companies, and you've identified two as your initial investments. So this is a room full of people who should understand that model. However, it's very bold to present to these rooms of experts in the private equity space. So, and being so young in the space yourself. So what drew you to this model rather than into an operating company?
So what drew me to this model is, all right, so I am in my final semester at the University of West Indies, studying banking and finance. I've been in agriculture, and I am moving out of university now into working world. So what we're doing, we're putting the agricultural company under the holding company while seeking investors to expand the agricultural company and venture into other businesses. So, boss, what encouraged me to do this is, just to create more jobs, more opportunities for our people, because that is what we need more. We need more jobs, and we need more businesses that will be operating efficiently. So the holding company will put these companies under one big company that will manage them properly. So we'll be appointing 3 non-executive investors who will be advising us. So these are people who are owners of holding companies, and another one is a business teacher, and then other one is a financial expert.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I know our judges have a few more questions, but it is a convenient time for them to put together all the notes that they've taken at the end of 6 very interesting pitches from our entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for each and every team that presented this afternoon. Of course, we had Boss Holdings rounding out the 6. Just to remind you of the teams that presented this afternoon, we had Mood Restaurant and Bar, China Farms Limited, Life Skills Education Limited, Sterry Waste Management Limited, and Boss Holdings rounding out the discussion. So at this juncture, our judges are putting together their scores, and it seems that they have already put together their scores. So while the official tabulation takes place, I do think it would be an important juncture for the judges to just share with us in these kinds of situations what they're looking for and maybe what stood out to you as judges during the presentation of this afternoon.
So I represent ID Lab, and we are the entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology arm of ID. So we issue grants, loans, and equity to support the development of entrepreneurship in countries in the Caribbean and Latin America. And we actually have a grant facility that's available right now. However, the key to accessing any funding from IDB is that you already need to be having revenues and operating, number one, and you need to be able to put in as well the same amount of money that you're requesting in a grant. So if you need to have skin in the game, that's one of our requirements at IDB. So I was really looking for who has been able to generate revenues in their business already, who is technology driven as an entrepreneur. That's a very important piece for us. The grant facility that we have open right now is up to $1 million for green energy transition projects. So the gentleman with the farm was very interesting to me. I think he was the one that would most be able to access that funding. However, he has to show that he's already generating revenues and that he can put in the equal amount to what he's asking for. So, Mr. Farmer, you heard that or you missed that? Okay.
I heard it.
So if the existing farm is generating revenues and this is a project within the existing farm, you can be eligible for the US in grant funding. No one else is eligible for that facility, but for tech entrepreneurial education was very interesting as well. Potential future opportunities if they arise. So that is really what I was listening on for, because there's real money that's available if you are able to grow your business to a certain extent.
Okay, so representing the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, our view is that business model needs to be solid. What's the value proposition? Do you have a real offer for a real problem, or extensive business problem, or scalable business, and who is running the business and the quality of that team? So in a pitch environment, you are seeking to hear these things in 5 minutes. The audience, it really doesn't matter because the audience is also looking to hear what is so special about this business. Am I a potential consumer? Does this person have something to offer me? And would I be willing to spend money on it? Because ultimately, we want to make money first, and then we want to make profits, and we want to grow those revenues and those profits. So if in 5 minutes you can tell me something that's going to convince me that your worth is leading to more, then it means more preparation needs to be done. Also, the absence of research needed to validate claims. Certainly here when I speak about market size and potential of the revenue stream, you have to be able to solidify that information in data, and it can't be speculatory or emotional. And innovation, I suppose, is something that is very debatable, but whether it is an existing business that is now innovating using technology, so you're certainly looking for a modification of existing solutions that they're going to be competing with to the point of disruption. So the more disruptive that business model is, the more interesting the investor will be. And they do understand that you have limitations. So if it is your technical team is limited, then you need to declare that so they understand how to press what the gaps are and additionally how they can support. So as you pitch, you just don't know who is in the room, so you need to take advantage of that opportunity. I'm certified from the University of Technology Innovation Center, and this is what we help entrepreneurs move their business from idea concept to scaling. So what I was looking for is a story behind the business, and one company stood up for me. I want to say the name. I won't. Right, they must understand your business. What is it? What are you solving? We have, we're Jamaicans, we have so many ideas, we're innovative, we're creative. So what is the problem? We teach the problem solution fit, it must fit for market. Right, so have knowledge of the business, and I can talk about governance. What is your governance structure? How robust it is, and use of technology. So, all embracing, we want to see all that coming out in the presentation, and of course, confidence.
Patrice Smith-Middle, Jamaica Stock Exchange, and what is key for me to look at is, in addition to what Jenny would have talked about in terms of business model, is just to see what is solid about the product or service that is coming to market, and to also focus, as always, on shareholder value and return. What is it that shareholders will be getting in return for their investment?
So there you have it. Those of you in the room who may be looking forward to your next opportunity to pitch, you now know what our adjudicators and experts are looking for, and you never know who in this room may very well be just chomping at the bits with their checkbook waiting to sign that check, to hand those funds over, to give you an opportunity to bring to life what your vision is. So I know that the final tabulation is taking place. I'm wondering if that's the trusty envelope / result. But a reminder to you, ladies and gentlemen, that a winner will walk away with $500,000. Second place gets $100,000. $100,000. And third place, $50,000. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the results? No, bueno, dos, solo la ready. Tengo que preguntarles en español, damas y caballeros santos, ¿estamos listos? Now that I have your attention, are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? So, after 6 very exciting pitches, our judges have scored, and in 6th position, 6th, número 6, is team that came forward with a solution in the legal field. It's Council Flow Inc. Put your hands together for Council Flow Inc., ladies and gentlemen. We say thank you so very much to them for coming forward and sharing their business venture. And guess what? We have a gift. So I'm going to invite Giovanna to come on stage. We're not walking away empty-handed. So invite her to come on stage. Of course, she shared with us her solution that has the potential to replace at least one legal or paralegal personnel in a firm. And of course, their aim is to make more efficient task tracking. And they have their eye on not just the local, but also the international market with their solution. So Council Flow is the name of the entity, and we wish them all the very best. Put your hands together for Giovanna with our 6th place team. In 5th position is a business that also has some food and agriculture involved. Ladies and gentlemen, the team in 5th position is Boss Holdings. They're asked us for $10 million for 10% in a holding company, and of course they have a mix of agriculture, farming, real estate, and a number of offerings up, and we wish them all the very best. As we said, no one is leaving empty-handed. Boss Holdings. And of course, as I call the teams and their placings, I know that the reality is that there's a number of venture capitalists who may not necessarily be interested in the top 3 teams, but they might see something in the teams that are in the overall vying. So you never know. Don't count yourselves out, teams. But we say congratulations to Boss Holdings. As we move to our, of course, please go ahead and give them a round of applause. Now, our 4th place team, they sought to tackle in the education system the idea of fighting the underlying traumas. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Life Skills Education Limited, our 4th place team. We invite you to come forward. Of course, they are asking for $250,000 US and 20%. And they have been rolling out their trauma response school operating system that aim to help to address maladaptive behaviors and boost life skills in our schools. They've reached over 7,000 students, and they've achieved $25 million in revenue. We wish them all the very best. Put your hands together once again for life skills. Which means now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at our top 3 teams. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd position, this team tackled an issue that we have seen over the years, but it's quite critical, especially when you think of the overall environment and waste management. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Waste Management Limited, tackling the issue of medical waste and the very, very important gap that's potentially there. And of course, he clearly has a fan club in the room, and guess what? He'll walk away with 50,000 Jamaican dollars. And as he shared in his presentation and as the official handover of that prize will come, we do know that he's already piloted this business in 5 clinics in Kingston and currently in the process of getting that pre-approval by the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. So, I think you want to do that for the photos once again. That was a little bit too quick. So, sterile waste, medical waste management is their aim, and their aim is to address the medical waste management challenges that's affecting a number of facilities across this country. Congratulations to the team Sterile Waste Management Limited. Now the next team will walk away with $100,000. There are only 2 teams left, which means at the juncture of me announcing the team that is in second place, you'll know the winner, which means that I'll give at this juncture the winning team, and then I'll announce. So I'll go in second place. Ladies and gentlemen, the team that will walk away with the winning prize is involved in food. So yes, the winning team is involved in food, and someone smartly said that but both teams are involved in food. So I think that my teaser was adequate. But before I give you our second place team, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the final scores were not just based on their presentations this evening, but it is an average, really, of their preliminary scores and what they presented prior to their on the stage, in the moment, heated drilling this evening by our judges. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the team that's in second place is trying to tackle food security with the aim of securing $12 million for 12% equity. Ladies and gentlemen, the second place team is in China Farms, which means Food, Restaurant and Bar is our 2026 Venture Capital Pitch winner. So as I invite the gentleman from the China Farms to come up and collect his second place prize of $100,000, I ask you to brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, as the gentleman who is at the helm of our winning team, Food, Restaurant and Bar, will make his way to the stage, and he will do so with a grand entrance as we congratulate Mr. Lynch from the China Farms as he walks away with $100,000. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of our $500,000 Jamaican prize is Matthew Francis from Food, Restaurant and Bar. With more than 10 years experience in the hospitality field, his hope is to be able to bring a different kind of experience in the food and beverage industry. And of course, it's already making big projections, and clearly our judges saw something in him. And today he walks away with $500,000 to pump into his venture. And I'll give you 30 seconds, Mr. Francis, as our CEO shares some word of advice. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to share with us how you're feeling in this moment and what you'll put this money to do.
Alrighty, now, first and foremost, thank you so much to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This whole conference has opened my eyes to a lot, personally for my business. Allowed me to put my concept and numbers under a real stress test. And trust me, the figures are way up before I I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys like my concept and my idea, and best believe I will do it. I will do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the just to ensure that our friends from the media have your full
Thank you so much for
coverage.
joining. This was an exciting pitch room presentation. It is done every year, and this year we really had some innovative presentations. See you tomorrow. God bless
We're
you.
also inviting our judges to join